And I'm back. Sorry, guys. So, as I was saying before, I left off. I'm gonna put this microphone back on here and just bring it a little closer to me, like this. And yes, now we're back. So now we're gonna be entering the top five teams who I believe are gonna be who are in this. Oh, I can't talk this AP top 25 poll, and we're gonna get into it because I got a ton to say about these guys because I am not a fan of these guys at all whatsoever. There's a few of these teams where I'm not really a huge fan of, and there's only one team in this, actually two teams in this top five that I could see going back to the NCAA tournament and having a chance to win it all. Number five, we have number five Purdue. Now, if number five Purdue, in my opinion, is one of the, if not biggest pretenders, dude, biggest. Like, dude, I mean, this is a team that's a pretender, dude. I'm not a fan of Purdue at all whatsoever. I think Purdue is heavily overhyped. They are just coming off of a loss to IU. That was a pretty unfortunate loss to IU. A couple of days ago. It was a really just an ugly game. And even then, Terrence Jackson Davis, or whatever his name is, I don't really know his name. He did not have a great game either. He looked kind of off too, but even then, him looking off was still enough for Purdue to lose this game and for Indiana to take this big win at home or win it, I don't know, on the road versus Purdue. To me, dude, they're pretenders. And you know what, man? I cannot stand Purdue. They always, every single year, have never failed to show that they are contenders. They have always failed to show that. The one legitimate year where I thought Purdue, hey, I was like, hey, Purdue might do it. Purdue might go all the way. Was the year that they had Carson Edwards, and when since then, dude, they looked bad, dude. Ever since then, they've just kind of been looking up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's just they've not looked good in my opinion. I've been just not a fan of them whatsoever, and that's just basically all I really got to say about Purdue. Next we're gonna be doing is UCLA. UCLA, in my opinion, are contenders. I think UCLA has a really great shot at winning the entire thing this year. They have been nonstop. They have looked amazing. They have looked great. They've just been on a roll, and I love the fact that they've been able to just show their success after they had that magical run a couple of years ago, and now they hopefully are looking to coming into this tournament and to win the entire tournament. I think that they are contenders. I think they're going to win March Madness. I would book it right now. They have like plus 1,200 odds to win this entire thing. I would book that UCLA wins March Madness this year. Next is number three Purdue and our number three Kansas. I have them as contenders. I don't see them not going back and winning the entire thing. I think that they have a great shot to win the entire thing again. I don't see why not that they couldn't go back. I really liked what they did last year. They really came in there last year and really did really well. Kansas this year has been looking pretty solid this year too. I would say that they're not as I wouldn't say they're as strong as I would like for them to be, but I'm really enjoying the fact that they're here, they're back, and I think this team is really, I think they could do it this year. I really do think that Kansas can go back again this year and win. Um, and thank you, Chris, for your wonderful comment. Kansas will run it back. I do think so too. Talk about Rutgers. I didn't Rutgers till Rutgers took a not pretty bad loss, but they had a bad loss versus Michigan. Really unfortunate loss at the very end of that wild game versus Michigan, and especially for Michigan to win at Rutgers at the probably they've said one of the hardest stadiums to play in. Yeah, imagine that's crazy. Now, next, this is just my opinion, dude. I think this is just my opinion. I'd love to just be proven wrong because that's usually how it happens. Every time I say something, I get called a curse. I get called a ton of other shit that already. I'll get into them. I'll get into that Michigan State game, dude. I will because I have no right to be shitting on other teams when my fucking Michigan State Spartans went in and blew a whopping, I think it was a 10-point lead or 8-point lead with under a minute left, and they just blew it because they suck. They literally suck. There was no other way around it. But now going into number two, Alabama. Number two, Alabama, dude. they've got so much shit going on for them. It reminds me of the Commanders. It really does. I mean, they've got players getting allegations, everything like that. I mean, dude, if that doesn't sound like a Washington Commander Tuesday morning to you, I have no idea what it sounds. But dude, to me, man, yes, MSU blue. Thank you, Chris. Um, yeah, they're pretenders, dude. I think Alabama are one of the biggest frauds in this NCAA tournament. They are one of the more overhyped teams that are just getting overlooked. And I just don't think that they're that great. I'm sorry, I don't. I mean, the competition within the Southeastern Conference has just been kind of just up and down, dude. I mean, Tennessee's been looking okay this season. Kentucky was rated as the best team. Kentucky was rated, I believe, as the best team in this conference, and they plummeted. Kentucky plummeted. Texas A&M has been going up and down, but what they have the second best conference record this year. They have the second best record in there, and they're also doing really good too. But what's going for Alabama right now is that they have not lost at home this year. They are 14-0 at home. They have not lost at home. And to be really good and to be in this tournament, um they gotta Alabama gonna win the title, Kansas, because they have a lot of a lot of shooters intended. That's funny. A lot of shooters. That's hilarious. What's up, Awesome Sports? Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's only really that one player in Alabama that I really like, but other than that, dude, I don't really see them being as much as a threat. I don't think that they'll make the Final Four, nor do I think that they're going to make the Elite Eight. I think they're going to get bounced in the Sweet 16, but that's just my opinion. And lastly, last but not least, the biggest Mickey Mouse team in this entire tournament. This team that will I would bet my own soul, that they will not make the Final Four tournament, and if they do, they will not win the championship. Is Houston? Is the biggest, no competition, no one can touch them, bro. They play in such a terrible conference that it's you can't even make it up, dude. Houston is in one of the worst conferences. They are what Gonzaga was the last 5 years, and they're up and coming Gonzagas. That is who they are. They are the up and coming Gonzagas, and they're not gonna win, dude. Houston has been looking like this every single year, year in and year out. Houston has been a top 10 team in the tournament. They've always been a 5 seed. What's going on, Young K? Houston has been they've been one of those really good teams, dude, but it's just the lack of any form of competition that they can play in. Their second best team, the second best team in their conference is Tulane. And Tulane, I think they played Tulane not even that long ago. It was not long ago. They whooped them by 30. So that shows you that the second best team in the what conference? In the American Athletic Conference, they're not that great. Memphis was okay a few years back, but they still never competed with Houston. Houston has dominated that conference for a few years now. I think the domination, though, will be over, because I think that they are highly, highly overrated. How am I doing today? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. But Houston's the biggest pretenders. But now to talk about this weekend, because this weekend did feel like March. Cole kind of got into it this morning of what happened this weekend, but I'll get into it. Miami getting buzzer beater. That was hilarious. That shit had me on the floor dying, because that was a nothing but net, no bank, no rim, no nothing, a nothing but net half court shot. That's hilarious. Number 2, Michigan State. Michigan State's a bunch of fucking bums, dude. I'm gonna be so for real, bro. I know that shit was all AJ Hogarth's fault too. Everybody else was shooting over 50% on the field except for him. He was 1 for 4, bro. He had 13 or 14. He had 13 or 14 points. 14, maybe let me rephrase. 10 or 11 of those points. No, he had like 6. No, I don't remember how many points he had, but his field goal percentage was 1 for 4. Everybody else was shooting over 50%. Everyone was going crazy. Michigan State at one point was shooting 70% at the half, like during the second half, and they still lost. Whose fault is this? Tom Izzo, AJ Hogarth, Jaden Aikens for turning that. No, it was AJ Hogarth who turned that ball over on the double team. It's what Michigan State's kryptonite is the lack of being able to control a press offense, meaning where you're just getting pressed on and you have no room, you can't do anything, and they have not been able to just stop it. They can't. That's their biggest kryptonite. That is exactly why they lose a ton of games, is because when they get pressed, they struggle. Now, Now, is that every team in college basketball? Yes, that's every team in college basketball. Every team has struggles with that because it's people. If you have a good coach who dominates the perfect full court press or half court press, they will embarrass you. Tom Izzo has never been able since like 2019, 2018, and I would say from a few years beyond. This has been more of a recent thing, but a few years beyond that, has Tom Izzo has never been able to just to find an answer to a press to a half court press or a full court press. My bad. Half court presses. These motherfuckers still struggle with half court press, and you shouldn't even struggle that bad with half court presses. Full court presses, on the other hand, they are terrible. They are probably the worst team. They cause too many turnovers. There are too many 8-second violations. There's too much inconsistency. They have no idea what they're doing. It's just all over the place. And that's exactly how they lost to Iowa. Another thing too, Iowa was shooting almost every 3-pointer that they could. It would nothing but net. I don't understand it. They were literally hitting everything, and we had no defense. And that's the problem. Another thing with Tom Izzo too is that he runs this 3 guard offense where we're having Jaden Akins, AJ Hoggard, and Tyson Walker. Granted, AJ Hoggard is a little bit of a taller guard, but I still wouldn't put him at a small forward position. He's a legitimate point guard. Jaden Akins, he sucks. I'm sorry. He looked okay during the game, but the only good player on Michigan State, in my opinion, is Tyson Walker. The dude's a walking bucket. Dude's been lighting up teams. He lit up Purdue even when they lost. He lit up Iowa and then they lost. He's lit up at almost every single team that he's played this year. He has lit them up in some form of way, and we've sold them. We have sold them on the fact that we cannot guard or play defense. I think our defensive rating this year is top 10. That's bullshit. There's no way. It's because of that month in December when Michigan State played a ton of bums and they played nobody. Their defense is going to look phenomenal. It's going to look great against bums. But then when they go and play, it seems like when they went and played Gonzaga on the ship and they won and they lost by 1 point. Why'd they lose? Because of half court press and they couldn't hit their shots. And not couldn't hit their shots. It was just AJ Hoggard who couldn't hit his shots because I don't think that the offense should be going through Hoggard. The offense should be going through Tyson Walker. There's no other way around it. Tyson Walker needs to have that ball in his fucking hand every fucking play. There's no other way around it. Tyson Walker needs to have the ball in his hand every fucking play. AJ Hoggard is never allowed to touch the rock, touch the ball at all. Only time AJ Hoggard can really touch the ball is when he passes it in to Tyson Walker. If he wants to take a layup, that's fine. It has to be wide fucking open though. If he wants to shoot a 3-pointer, it has to be wide open. I prefer Jaden Akins over AJ Hoggard, and Jaden Akins is ass. He is way worse than AJ Hoggard, but if we're looking at consistency, I'm giving it to Jaden Akins because he's a little bit better than AJ Hoggard when it comes to consistency and not turning the ball over. And another thing, too, Michigan State has the worst turnover rate I've ever seen in my entire life. They lose that motherfucker more than Russell Westbrook does. And I love Russell Westbrook. But Michigan State had like 8 turnovers in the first 7-8 minutes of the game. And we're supposed to go into this Big Ten tournament versus all the teams that are clearly better than us. And we're going to get smoked unless we play like Minnesota and Nebraska. I'd be okay with that. Fuck, give me Minnesota and Nebraska all fucking day. Or even Ohio State too. I don't really give a shit. Give us either one. I will be perfectly okay with it. But no, Michigan State, they look terrible, dude. I sometimes just can't believe that I get the ungrateful privilege to watch these fuckers suck. They were terrible. Now, when we beat IU, that shit was great, but let's be realistic. That was all. That was luck. That was literally luck. We got so lucky. Yeah, we did play at East Lansing, but still, we still got really lucky. But now, another thing too, and another great thing that we get to talk about today is that Carson Wentz is no longer a Commander. It's wonderful. Carson Wentz is no longer a Washington Commander. That's probably the best fucking news I've heard in my entire life. Carson Wentz is a certified backup XFL quarterback, dude. He is terrible. Now, I don't know who said this at my work today, but somebody said that he's going to go to the Carolina Panthers. And I literally looked at him and I was like, do they have a USFL team or do they have an XFL team of some sort? Because there's no one's going to want Carson Wentz. You don't want him as a backup because he fucking stinks. He's not like Nick Foles. He's lost all his momentum in his career. He's literally so scared to do anything. Carson Wentz, for people who are joining in, Carson Wentz is who I'm talking about right now. He's cut off the team. The Commanders have a lot of money. They also got cut Bobby McCain. I went live with Bobby McCain too, so that's really tough that he got cut. Liked Bobby McCain, but he was just not a good player. He was not a good player, dude. Nico, you were the same man that was happy that y'all traded for him. Yeah, I'll actually get into this comment. So if if you looked at how Carson Wentz did last year with when he had Frank Reich, he did subpar mediocre, which he did good enough, but not great. He was still anything better than what we had before that. We've had inconsistency. We've had people get injured like Alex Smith, but before Alex Smith got hurt, he was balling out. And Carson Wentz was not not as good as he was not as good as Alex Smith, but he was at least something to get excited about, minus a Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, Colt McCoy. He was something that wasn't that, and that's what Washington needed. That's just something I thought that's what we needed. But then with getting Carson Wentz, we lost Brandon Sheriff. We lost, and I'm not saying that Brandon Sheriff why I came in here to listen to talk about March Madness. Why am I listening about the Washington Commies? I'm getting into how just Carson Wentz got cut real quick, and then I'm gonna get back into the college basketball world. Thank you, Dylan, for showing up and giving me your asshole comment of the day. I love you too. Um, but yeah, no. At the time, Carson Wentz was at least something to get excited about. Now, obviously, he's cut, he sucks, and at the end of the day, I really wish we just didn't trade. I just wish we didn't trade for him. Um, I just wish we didn't trade for him. But to go back to college basketball, I'm gonna do another quick segment on pretenders and all that, contenders and whatnot, and who I just believe teams that are gonna go tonight. So tonight, I know that tonight there's a couple big games tonight actually that we can actually review if we want to go over those games tonight. We have one big game. I know there's two pretty decent games tonight. Let me see real quick. I don't remember the schedule for tonight. So we have UNC at Florida State then tonight. Florida State's at the 9-20. UNC is playing for so much right now, dude. I would not be shocked. It's funny. Earlier today, earlier in the thing, on the other stream because I had to end the last one. Carson goes UNC money line. Yeah, UNC money line. If you want to take UNC money line tonight, yeah, I'd probably go for it. It's like at minus 350, but you'll probably make like $2. But is it going to be worth it? Absolutely. Just remember, I don't care about college basketball. Have a good day. Well, I love you, Dylan. Thank you for coming here. A couple other teams that are playing tonight. I know that Iowa State's playing tonight too. Yes, they are. Iowa State is playing West Virginia tonight. I think it's going to be a really underrated matchup tonight. I really like Iowa State in this one though. They just came off of being in the top 25. Now they're trying to make their case to be put back in. What a good way to put themselves back into the top 25 by getting a big 12 win tonight on the at home versus West Virginia, who's been really iffy all season. And then tonight, which is apparently a really big game, is Baylor versus Oklahoma State. I really like this game a lot because Baylor, it's on the road, and there would not be a perfect time for Baylor to lose a game right now. This is such a Baylor game to lose. And I know Oklahoma State's not that great, but dude, it's one of those trap games in my opinion. I think this is a game where Baylor could easily lose this game. Now, granted, Oklahoma State has just not looked that great all season. They've lost to TCU, Kansas. They did get a win over number 11 Iowa State though, so they could get Iowa State. They could go and get their number tonight. Oklahoma State could go get Baylor's number tonight if they're consistent, if they're playing well. But I think this is Baylor's game to lose. Baylor should win this one. It shouldn't be close, but um yeah, it shouldn't be close, but you never know in college basketball anymore. Next on Tuesday, another really good matchup I like is a Michigan State basketball game. I love these games because these games they always make my head scratch and make me wonder why I waste my time watching them play basketball. But Michigan State goes to Nebraska to go and play Nebraska. Nebraska, this is a game Michigan State should win. If Michigan State doesn't win, they're fucking terrible. Tyson Walker better have a legacy game of a lifetime and drop 50 points. AJ Hogarth should go get benched. The line for this game is at -3.5, +3.5. So I believe Michigan State is favored to win this game. I don't see the money line. That's why I don't know for sure. but Michigan State needs to win this. But Nebraska has been hot lately. Nebraska is right now sitting on a 4-game winning streak, beating Wisconsin, Rutgers, Maryland, and Minnesota. But three out of those 4 games are at home. They went and beat Rutgers at Rutgers, and that's a pretty big win for them. So Nebraska's kind of making themselves a little resume too. Now, obviously, do I see them making the tournament? Absolutely not. But they will give Michigan State some problems though. So hopefully, with the wonderful consistency of AJ Hogarth's assness being on the bench and Tyson Walker just running the offense and Joey Hauser running it too, and Jackson Collier too, who has been a very underrated freshman this year, got him from Utah. He should be looking to have some big moments in this game. I really think that they really need to just worry about Derek Walker, and that's about it. I think Derek Walker is really the only main concern on this Nebraska team, but Nebraska has also just been on a really inconsistent roll this year too. They're looking great right now. They're getting hot at the right time, but they've already did lose to Michigan State already when they were 8-7. They're in this inconsistent. I think they've lost 4 games this year, and then they've won 4 games this year, which is kind of funny because it's Nebraska. Nebraska's usually sucks, but this year they're actually playing pretty decent. So we'll give it to Nebraska this year. We'll give it to them. I'm proud of Nebraska for having a positive record in February. Next we have Marquette Butler. Butler did, I believe, beat Mark. No, I'm tweaking. They didn't beat Butler. That's a stupid thing to say. They did not beat Butler, did they? Did Marquette beat Butler? Did Marquette beat Butler? I don't remember if they beat Butler. They did beat Butler. Yeah, so this should be an easy game for Marquette, but know that Butler, the field house, will be rocking. They will make sure that Marquette does not walk away with the win. But now the Marquette's got to go on these big games now, and they have to prove themselves. And this is a great game to now prove themselves. They could have a chance to move to 16-3 in the Big East. Next game, which I love that this game is on Tuesday because then I'll be able to watch it. Love this game. Clemson at Virginia. I just cannot believe it, but I'm taking Clemson over Virginia. Virginia to me is so overrated. It's not even funny. I think Virginia will wipe the floor with these frauds. I think Clemson will wipe the floor with these frauds. Clemson will smoke them. I hope Clemson wins. I really hope Clemson wins. Another really good game too in the Big Ten. Also, we're going back to the Big Ten. Went to the ACC, now back to the Big Ten as we're looking at now Iowa versus Indiana. Indiana is now coming off of a big win versus Purdue on the road. Now they're back at IU in Bloomington. I think IU should take this. But dude, after watching that Iowa game, dude, watch out for Iowa. Iowa can shoot the three from anywhere. IU fans, if you're watching, they can shoot from literally anywhere. I mean, they killed us, and they killed us on the 3-pointers, and that's what really sucks. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa was the number 1 team in the Big Ten in 3-point percentage because they just knocked down everything. The 2 McCaffrey brothers, they are legit. I know that the ASUN tournament, the championship is coming up soon, or the quarterfinal that's coming up tomorrow. I don't know who plays in what, so I don't want to, say something wrong. Another really good game too on Tuesday is NC State at Duke. Really nice ACC matchup here. I really like Duke in this game because it's at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I really like Duke in this one. Duke has been playing pretty solid basketball this year. I believe this is their first season without a Coach K, and they've been pretty good so far. So I really like Duke in this game versus NC State, but NC State did get blown out pretty bad versus Clemson. Not blown out, but I know Clemson took care of them, or they took care of Clemson. Hold on. I don't remember the scores. No, they got taken care of by Clemson pretty badly, 96-71. So hopefully NC State can have a bounce back game, but I really like Duke in this one. It's at Duke, so they wouldn't be shocked. The magical UMBC goes and plays Binghamton, whoever the fuck that is, I don't know. Georgia and Florida SEC matchup here. No one really playing for anything. I guess just positioning. Eastern Michigan. I know they got Imani Bates, who was a former Michigan State commit. And we just once again let great talent walk away. Texas Tech versus Kansas. That could be also a really good trap game also for Kansas. Texas Tech is always, they have my number. Texas Tech's had my number, dude. They've had it since the Final Four in 2019, 2020, or 2018, 2019. The Texas Tech is just fucking outrageous. They're outrageous, dude. Outrageous. Outrageous. Arkansas versus Tennessee. I really like this game also. There's a lot of good games on Tuesday. Arkansas versus Tennessee. That's going to be a really good game also. I hope to see Tennessee win this game. It's at Knoxville, so I think it'll be I think Tennessee will probably take care of them. Tennessee's like in conference plays only at 10-6. That's a little shocking. And Arkansas, just I guess trying to play it again to the tournament with a great win. If a good win here versus Tennessee would make that bid look very nice. And then we have I was just talking about this in the other video. It's the Mountain West. San Diego State goes up against Boise State for the Mountain West. I don't really care who wins this game. They're both really fucking trash, in my opinion. They would get fucking bounced by anybody else. And then we have Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. Texas A&M should bounce them out also. And that's really it. There's really no other games going on minus tomorrow. There's a great slate tomorrow. Wednesday might have some great games too that we can cover on Tuesday. There's really not that many good games. Hold on, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Minus Gonzaga playing Northwestern versus Penn State. I'm gonna tell you guys that story real quick. So a couple of days ago, I placed a beautiful parlay. Beautiful parlay. It was like plus 100. It was like plus 1,118. And it was a USC plus like 215, Northwestern plus, and Penn State plus. And it came down to just Northwestern. And what did Northwestern do? I'll tell you guys what they did. They fucking sold the bag. They sold probably one of the best parlays that I've cooked in a fat minute, and they sold it because why? They are fucking inconsistent assholes, and they fucking hate me, and they wanted to take my money, and they are assholes, and they're fucking rude, and I've hate Northwestern ever since. Now I get made fun of to place a bet on Northwestern now, and every time I just think about Northwestern, I think about the parlay, and I think I went to bed that night upset, sad, and just like depressed. Like I was so sad that they lost that parlay just did not go the way that I wanted it to, but it's all good. But thank you guys for watching today. Remember, UCLA and Kansas State are my contenders, and my pretenders are the two teams that are rocking the 1 and 2 seed, and that is Houston and Alabama. So thank you guys for watching Cahtah Media. Thank you guys for watching Cahtah Media today. Thank you guys for watching me today. If you guys want to see more, just make sure you guys click the description and make sure you guys are following, subbing, doing whatever y'all want to do. And we're going to get into NFL free agency and we're going to get to March Madness. We're going to have such a fun March in sports because there's so much happening. We are working with some new people too. I know we're working with Fanatics also. So make sure you guys check out the Fanatics. Check out everything else, Jersey Frost, everything else, whatever you guys want to check out, please check it out. Have yourselves a great day. And remember, AJ Hogarth fucking sucks.